You could love your family and still not like them. If that sentence made you uncomfortable, this conversation is for you. This is Conversation with the McQueens. I'm Sonia. This is my husband, Quentin. All right, so we're going to talk about this topic today. We're going to speak on it. But before I start, I want to say that Led by Motivation is a 501c3 company that my husband and I own. And what we do is we give love and resources to the community. We've handed out thousands of toiletry bags full of snacks, soap, whatever toiletries you could think of somebody would need, they're in the bags. We're in South Florida, so we don't do the blankets, but we do the socks, and we have clothing. We're building something just to help those in need, not just homeless, but the disenfranchised and the needy as well. So I wanted to say all that because we've been asked by people, how can they help? How can they donate? So what we're going to ask is if that's on your heart to donate to us. Doesn't have to be in monetary, it doesn't have to be funds. It could be any of those things that go in a bag. It could be food. We do feed the homeless at special events, or things to go into the bags themselves. So if that is your desire, your request, on a later episode, we'll give you a P.O. box you could send things to directly from Amazon or whatever to that P.O. box, because we do this out of our own pockets. We do this, we don't ask, we don't get grants or any kind of government funding for this yet. It's coming. So thank you for those who've asked. We received a box today. Thank you so much for the box. You know who you are. All right?
Yeah.
All right, sir. So back to it. You can love the family that you don't like. You want to talk about this, sir?
Sure.
All right. So first off, tell me what family means to you.
What family means to me is love. Love. Just I want to say unconditional love, but everybody don't love unconditionally. But just definitely someone that makes you feel loved. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a blood relative,
Right.
even if it's a friend. If they make you feel, loved, then they are considered family in my book. All right. So to me, that's what family is. Someone that's very supportive, someone that's there for you. That's family. That is family. All right. So that's what family means to me.
I concur. I agree with everything he said. For me, as far as friendships, where I call these people my sister or my brother, if I can trust you in my home and I'm not there, trust you around my kids, my grandkids, you're my family. You go in my fridge and I'm not looking at you crazy. You're my family. You just want to come over and eat, or you just need an ear, a shoulder, and vice versa. You're there for me, I'm there for you, and I'll fight for you. You're my family.
Right.
You're my family.
Absolutely.
All right, so along with this, Quentin, what is the emotional weight for family members that you love, for you specifically, the emotional weight you feel when you really don't like this family member or these family members, but you love them. You love them. Does it weigh on you at all?
Okay. Definitely does.
Okay.
Because my wife know how big I am on family. I'm very big on that. And because I'm big on family, because I grew up in a big family, we grew up very close. So, back in the day when I grew up, you spend the night to your cousin's house, and cousins spend the night at your house, so we were a very close knit family. So, and because we were very close knit and I grew up in that, family means a lot to me. So for me not getting along with a family member or feeling, negative about a family member, not, just that definitely weighs on me. I don't like it. Now, for some other people, some people, they don't care. They don't care. Their thing is, hey, you don't like me, I don't like you, oh well. And it's a lot of people out there like that.
True.
I'm not like that. Now, with that said, don't get me wrong. If you call yourself, not liking me or distancing yourself from me, yes, it's gonna bother me. But guess what? I ain't chasing behind you. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna chase behind you and run you down trying to fix the relationship and this and that. I'm not doing that. Especially if I truly feel like I didn't do anything, to cause that division or whatever the case may be. So I'm not gonna do that. Now, if you open to, talk and want to resolve it, I'm always open to talk with a family member, always, and that's important. So I'm never to the point where I don't want to talk to such and such, I don't want to hear nothing they got to say. Never. Not, especially if you're family. Because I'm a very reasonable person. I'm reasonable and I'm rational. And then a lot of times it's just a misunderstanding. A lot of times. It's just a misunderstanding. And the misunderstanding being someone might have gotten offended by something that was said or done and it wasn't even meant that way. And it literally is like that a lot of times. So just sometimes a simple sit down conversation can kind of, resolve that most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time.
All right. I'm going to agree with some of that, but alert you guys, negativity coming from me here. So, because we were raised so differently, I was military, my dad was military. I lived with my dad when I graduated high school. I went straight in the military at 17. So my brothers lived somewhere else. When I was in 6th grade, both of my brothers were gone. And it was just us. It was me, my brothers, and my mom. We all lived in this trailer park, right? Other
How many brothers do you have?
I said me, my brothers, and my mom.
How many brothers do you have?
2, because earlier I said both.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 2. But they were both gone by the time I was in 6th grade. So then it was just me and my mom until I had to go stay with my dad. Then it was just pretty much, in my opinion, me and my dad, right? Graduated, went military, moved to Virginia at 18 or 19 with my fiance. And I just never was in the kind of family where we all just hooked up on the weekends and I'm staying the night, you stay in the night. We seen each other Christmas when I would go to my grandma's in Salt Lake City and my cousins would be there, but I didn't really know them. We had a good time, but I didn't know them. When I was little, we would go to North Carolina for the summers and I would stay with my grandma and my favorite cousins were there, right? So anyway, I don't want to make this a long story. It was so different that I was okay with getting really good friendships and making them my family. My friends became my family because I was never around my family. And it wasn't like that until I got out of the military and moved to Kansas City. And both my brothers had moved to Kansas City and we started doing things as a family. As a family, every weekend we would rotate whose house we went to for dinner and we would play, basketball on my basketball court or volleyball on my brother's volleyball court. Whatever we did, we did it together as a large family and it got larger and larger because everybody was married and kids, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. But I am the type, here comes the negativity. If you cross me, and I'm working on this, but my husband, he'll stamp this. If you cross me, I'm already looking at you sideways. Now, if I love you enough to give you another chance, I'm the type to not throw it back in your face. I'm not gonna throw it back in your face, but that doesn't mean I'm never gonna forget what you did. If you do it again, I do something I call a funeral for the living. I'm killing you in my mind. You're dead to me. And it has to be something serious. It can't be, something minute, but it has to be something serious. And I will literally have a funeral for you in my head. I will mourn the loss of you, but you'll never hear from me again. And I'll make sure of it. I'll block you on everything possible. I'll block you. I've done it. I'll block you on my phone. I'll block you on all social media. I'll block your family. When I say your family, I mean like your kids, just to make sure I never hear from you again. And I know that's bad. I know it's total opposite of my husband. It's something I'm working on, but it would have to be something bad. And you would have to literally treat me or mine super bad for me to even go that route. I'm not as forgiving as my husband, and that's something else. I've come a long way, but I'm not where I could be or should be. So yeah, impact for me, it can be something else, but once you're dead, you're dead. So hey, true story though. Am I lying?
No, you're not. You're definitely not. Yeah, but as long as the thing is though, as long as you can recognize that and
Right.
acknowledge it and then work on it, you know what I'm saying? So that's the good part, that that's an issue with you, and you have room to work on it in time, God forbid. And that's the thing, guys. It's important that if you do have, specifically that type of issue where that you're not a very forgiving individual, like I said, especially when it comes to family, you definitely need to work on that, because at the end of the day, they family, and you don't want something tragic to happen. The person is in ICU on their deathbed or something, and then you have to show up, and then you I would think it would probably kind of make you feel a little bad, especially if you're seeing this person laying there and you never really got a chance to talk to them and talk it out and hash it out and apologize to one another or whatever, and then God forbid, like I say, they pass away.
They've already been dead though.
Well,
I'm dead serious too. I'm not even joking.
well,
I'm not even joking. If they've already, all right. So listen. Once again, this isn't something small. Let's just say my sister wrongs me. My sister wrongs me. I love my sister. So I'm going to go out of my way to try to talk to my sister and see what happened. Me and my sister, we fix things. Okay, cool. Next thing you know, my sister's not talking to me again. She's not talking to me. And I'm reaching out to my sister day after day, week after week, month after month. A year goes by, 2 years go by. My sister's talking about me. I know she's around, but my sister wants nothing to do with me. It's messing with my peace. I'm probably losing sleep. I'm mourning my sister because I love my sister. I'm mourning her. And what it does, it starts to affect my everyday life. So the only thing I know to do to get past that is to mentally just say my sister doesn't even exist anymore. Now I'm going to mourn the loss of my sister, but it helps me grieve and get past it. So you can't come to me 5-6 years down the line and tell me, oh, your sister's in ICU. No, I did everything I could do 4, 5, 6 years prior to build a relationship, see what's going on with my sister, even let her know, I just love you. You're my sister. We don't have to talk as much as but she's ignored me all these years. My sister's already gone. So no, I don't think I would feel anything different.
Well, I'm definitely learning something new about you. I didn't know it was that deep.
You don't listen to my podcast, do you?
But we definitely differ.
Yeah.
On that, we are totally different on that. We are at odds on that because I'm definitely not like that. I'm not built like that. I wasn't raised that way. I'm just, when it comes to family, like I said, whether we're not speaking or whatever. I mean, We could have not spoken in 10, 20, 15 years, you know. But yeah, if you're in a bad situation, like I said, you're in the hospital or whatever, I'm gonna go visit. I'm gonna go visit you. And especially if you pass away, I'm gonna definitely go pay my respects to you. At the funeral. So yeah, we're definitely different in that aspect. Cause you definitely gotta work on that. You know what I'm saying?
Or not. I'm comfortable with it now. I used to not be comfortable, and I've only killed two people.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this to you,
Okay.
and I hate to put you on the spot now.
It's okay.
What would Jesus do?
Jesus knows me so well.
Yeah, I didn't ask you.
He knows me so.
I didn't ask you. Jesus know all of us.
Listen, Jesus is the only perfect person in this whole entire universe, so he would do whatever is perfect. I am such an imperfect person. I'm 100% human, 100% of the time.
Okay.
Jesus just puts his head down and he's like, "That's Sonya."
Oh, that what he do?
He says, "That's Sonya."
Okay.
I'm still making my way into heaven. So.
Oh, is that right?
Okay. No ifs, no ands, no buts, or suppose.
Right.
So,
Right.
with that said, how do you think this would affect others around holidays? Our kids, our grandkids, other siblings, or whatever. More for me than you, and it's just your thought. We're speaking hypothetically, right? Because you already said you're going to go, you're going to, try to chop it up with the family member, whatever, and I'm the total opposite. How do you think such a thing would affect kids or grandkids or the other siblings? We're at a gathering.
Okay. Now, when you say where, you mean, I need to understand your question.
Let's say it's Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And we're all gathering at my mom's house.
Okay.
And me and one of the siblings I've killed that I'm not speaking to, haven't spoke to in 5 years,
Okay.
is there.
Okay.
I'm not backing up. I'm not going to go be miscongeniality, right?
Okay.
How do you think such a thing affects the other family members, you included?
I mean, it definitely will make me feel uncomfortable, because once again, I'm big on family. So, I wouldn't like it. It would make me feel uncomfortable. And as far as the kids are concerned, the kids may, I can't really tell you how, a child would necessarily feel. Their feelings are their feelings. Because some kids be on what the parents on. So, hey, some kids are ride or die. Hey, if you ain't rocking with them, I'm not rocking with them.
I know that's right.
And then some kids, they totally different. You know what I'm saying? They can be on some, that's between, you and my parent. That has nothing to do with me. You still my aunt or my uncle. And, they're able to look past that. So it depends on the child. It depends on the child. So I can't really speak on the child. But as for me, I just, I don't like it. I don't like stuff like that. Like I say, family is family, regardless of, what might have transpired or whatever the case may be. Family is family. And like I said, me personally, I don't really have to necessarily care for you. And listen, I got some family members I don't really care for. All right? But, they still family. You know what I'm saying? They still family. And my wife done seen this firsthand. I got certain individuals I don't necessarily care for. But guess what? I still go to bat for them. And my wife is a witness to I done had certain family members to mistreat, me, like literally mistreat me and do some things, and promise some things and, went back on some things, but guess what? They needed me. I was there for them.
Absolutely, you were.
I was there for them. Didn't bring it up, because once again, family just means so much to me. Now, of course, I share it with my wife. Now, I don't share it with any other family member. That's the thing. Like, a family member may do something to me or rub me the wrong way or do something. I won't share it with anybody else. Because one thing about me, one thing I don't do, I don't need you jumping on my bandwagon and disliking somebody or hating another family member because, of what I said, or something that they did to me. So I don't do that. Like I said, if it bothers me, the only person I share with is pretty much my wife, and that's just to get it out and not kind of like hold it in and just voice it and let my wife know, hey man, such and such did such and such, rubbed me the wrong way, made me feel some type of way or whatever. But I keep it pushing. I keep it right on pushing, and I keep right on loving my family, and they'll never know. They'll never know, and like I say, now if it really, really hurt me that bad, then I definitely will pull them to the side and have a sit down and have a conversation. If I'm really, really, just really hurt and I can't get past it. Yeah, if it's something I can't get past, yeah, we got to sit down and have a talk. But if it's something that, they slight me or whatever and they do something, I share it with my wife or whatever, but I keep it right on moving.
Okay. I'm going to back up a little bit. I was honest about killing off 2 family members. And when my kids are around them, my kids have no idea, so my kids treat them the way they should. But even if my kids do know, that's still their family and they have nothing to do with that. So I don't take my feelings and introduce them to other people's lives. Those are my feelings. I don't expect my husband to be around those family members and not talk to them. Like he just said a minute ago, we riding together, they slighted you, they slighted me too. I don't expect that from him either. I expect him to treat that person the way that he feels, that person deserves to be treated based on the way that person or those people treat him. But I do want to say, if my husband tells me somebody did something to him, I might feel a certain way, but I mind my business. I do. He's just sharing with me to share with me as his wife. Mm-hmm. But if somebody does something behind his back in front of my face, I feel some kind of way. And then once again,
as you should.
I'm out of body. So I can be out of body every once in a while, believe it or not. I'm not always this sweet. So I will feel some kind of way. Now there is a time, and we're not going to get into this too deep, but there's been a time where my husband was down bad, and I don't mean financially. I mean he was just down bad, and a family member might have said something extremely inappropriate, pissed me off. I'm ready to go to my car, pop my trunk on this family member. And another family member, my husband was in the hospital, by the way. When my husband got better, another family member told my husband what happened, and my husband, it was like, well, I'm sure his heart didn't feel that way, but he didn't miss a beat with that family member. And that's something else I just would not be able to do. I probably would have, his strength for holding stuff that bothers him. He knows how to keep a healthy distance, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like he's punishing the person, if that makes sense. It's a healthy distance, but it's not punishable. It's not a punishment, excuse me. For me, I'm gonna keep a distance, and I might punish you while I'm keeping that distance, and that's something else I need to work on. But I also don't want to ever be me being a woman. That's a big difference as well. I don't ever want to be a floor mat to anybody, or somebody think, oh, I got away with that, I could probably get away with this too. So I try to nip stuff in the bud, and my healthy distance looks totally different than Quentin's healthy distance.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just, we just have 2 totally different outlooks when it comes to family. And you know, I just family just means so much to me. You know that I just can't even describe what family means to me. So once again, I'm able to look past a lot of stuff. You know, I'm just saying I'm able to look past some stuff. Now, once again, that don't mean you're gonna take me for a sucker or you're gonna use me or what. My wife already know. You know, I ain't going for that. So that doesn't mean that. You know, I'm not tolerating no foolishness. I ain't putting up with no kind of foolishness or nothing like that. So that doesn't mean that. But all I'm saying is I'm definitely, I'm definitely a person that I can forgive a family member. I definitely know how to forgive and just move forward and move on. And like I say, especially if, you know, we sit down, we talk about it, we hash it out. I'm all for, you know, hey, all right, we got that out, let's move forward. I'm just all for that. I'm not into the just being bitter, being upset, being angry. That takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to feel that way, to be that way, to avoid someone, this and that. It takes a lot of energy, and whether you know it or not, it weighs on you. It really weighs on you a lot. So, and I definitely don't want to, waste that type of energy on not liking somebody, especially a family member. So I like I said, like my wife said, I definitely know how to keep my distance. I know how to just keep my distance or whatever. Hey man, you hit me up, you call me, I'm gonna pick up my phone. We gonna talk or whatever. And like I said, you want to work it out, hey, we'll work it out, get past it. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, I want to make this clear, that the relationship is gonna, remain the same, or I'm gonna view you the same way. It don't necessarily mean that. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how that is. Once a person leave a bad taste in your mouth, it's kind of hard to get rid of that bitter taste. And that bitter taste is kind of, sometimes it's just always there. So you can forgive, but don't necessarily mean you gotta forget. But I'm definitely into the forgiveness business.
I swear he just loops back around to what I say.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But for me, for the takeaways to wrap this up, I know what my boundaries are, and I know how to get my peace. My husband was saying earlier that weighs on you if you carry this, carry that. That's why I release it. That's why I release it. I will mourn somebody, but I will not carry the weight of whatever's going on in their life if they're not open to me. I'm not going to carry that for years and years and years, but that's me. There are some things I could work on and I should work on, and I will. I'm a work in progress, but I want to go back to saying we were raised totally different. While my husband was raised in a city, he was born and raised in Miami. His family is in Miami. They got together, staying the night at each other's houses. His mom's there. He's this, he's that, he's that. I didn't have that story. It was me. And I'm not going to get into that this episode, but it was me, myself, and I. When my brother Greg left or moved away, it was me at a very young age by myself. Raising myself, feeding myself, taking care of myself, going to school on my own, coming home, not doing homework, staying out as late as I wanted to with my friends, playing in the streets. I had no guidance, and I'm not knocking any parent. I didn't have that. So as I got older, without that kind of structure, you end up how you end up sometimes. And I can honestly say one great thing about me is I see where I need to work on me, and I do so. But there are certain things about myself, I know they're not perfect, but I'm okay with them. And that is killing off people when I need to, when they are messing with my peace or my sleep, or my commitment to me to be a better person. I've got to cut those kind of people out of my life. So that's my takeaway.
Okay. Well, I mean, there you have it. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, there's some family members that, you you love to hate, but that's just life. That's life. That's human nature. And you can't necessarily love everybody. You can't like everybody, but it's family. So, like the topic of this podcast today is, is some family members out there that, you love them, but you don't necessarily like them.
Amen.
And to me, that's what it's all about. I definitely love all of my family. It's not one family member that I do not love. I just can't stand them and I don't love them. I love my entire family.
I agree. I love my entire family as well.
Yeah.
I do.
So,
extended and all.
Yeah, but we all know we everybody have those certain family members that you don't you love them but you don't necessarily like them. So, and that's understandable. But once again, the takeaway from this is love your family. Definitely learn to forgive. Be able to hash it out, sit down, have a conversation, talk it out, because a lot of times it's just misunderstanding. Now, that doesn't mean, like I say, I'm not saying, chase anybody, you got to chase after them, but if a person is willing to sit down and talk, and willing to talk, just be open. That's all I'm saying. Be open, Miss Sonia.
Hey.
Yeah, be open for a conversation.
All right. And I just want to reiterate something we said at the very beginning. Family isn't just blood.
Right.
Whoever I'm talking about or whomever, it could be somebody I met later in life and they've wronged me and I forgave and they wronged me again and then things just went left and I knew I was better off cutting them off. I got to throw that out there because I love my family. I'm close with my family. We get along. I'm really blessed. So, yeah, family, from what my husband said in the very beginning, I'm not a doormat. So listen, you guys, if this podcast hits close to home, here's what we want for you to remember, right? You're not a bad person for choosing peace. You're not a bad person for saying, hey, I'm going to do healthy distancing with you. And I'm going to say, if you have a friend who is a user, an abuser, and there's things just going straight downhill, it's okay to have a funeral for the living. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and close us out, Mr. McQueen.
I mean, you said what you said, you feel how you feel. So, once again, my closeout is, like I just said, have a forgiving heart. Being able to, like I said, especially family. I'm not necessarily talking about friends. I'm specifically talking about family, like blood relative families.
We gotta stick with what we said in the beginning when I said we define family for both of us.
Well, we
the podcast.
Listen, we did.
Okay.
We did. But I'm ending it with this. We did because we said, in the beginning, what would be considered family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we did. So whether this makes sense or not, once again, blood relatives for me though. Blood relatives, because okay, I'm gonna say this. Before we end. I had a friend. I have a friend that we've been friends for over 30 something years or whatever. And then at some point we had stopped talking. And that friend is definitely like a family member to me. They like family because we grew up, from little kids. you know, and that bothered me a lot. So I'm gonna say that bothered me, and then you know we ended up, you know, talking again or whatever the case may be, and that definitely made me feel good because I definitely didn't want to throw that friendship away because man, we had been friends for so long, and I consider that individual as family. I really definitely consider them as family. So you know, you're right.
Aren't I always?
Yeah.
So, did you give your takeaway, or did you go back into a story?
Yeah, it's just forgive. That's
Okay.
it. Simply that, guys. Just forgive and just be open. Just have an open heart and an open mind to be able to sit down and talk it out. So if we talking to you out there and you got somebody that you don't like, you hate, you know, and you guys are family members or have been friends, like I said, for years, 20-year friendship, give them a call. Go ahead and give them a call. Shoot them a text. Shoot them an email, something, and just say y'all need to sit down and talk. Let them know, man. Let's sit down and talk and see if I can work it out.
You are not required to suffer to show somebody you love them. That's it for me. And
She gonna get us canceled. You know, the cancel coach. She gonna get us canceled before we even get started.
you guys have a wonderful work week, and we will see you again next week.
All right.
This is Conversation with the McQueens.
All right. See y'all next week, y'all.